Manchester United 3, Bodo Glimt 2 in what was a very, very entertaining game of football for the neutral. But of course, as Man United fans, it was a little bit kind of nail-biting at times as well. But Man United do come away with the 3 points and very happy with the win. And Man United, we kicked off and we lost the ball from kickoff. But what was really nice to see in the first minute was when we lost the ball, we made really good recovery runs and we kind of got back into shape. And when we were back in shape, obviously Bodo Glimt have the ball, they've got possession now. And Hojlund actually goes to press the keeper. He can't clear his lines. Hojlund tackles the ball away from the goalkeeper and Garnacho comes in to put the ball into the empty net. And it's great desire by Hojlund to actually press the keeper. And obviously Garnacho is there sprinting in to tap in into the open net to make it 1-0. So it was a really good start by Man United in the first minute. Of course, we did kick off, but we gave the ball away from kickoff. But like I said, we made really good recovery runs and got back into shape. But then we made Bodo Glimt play it back to the keeper. And then all of us pressed as a unit, as a team. We all went. Hojlund putting on really good pressure on the keeper and then tackling the keeper and then Garnacho coming in and smashing it home into the open net. So it was a really good start by Man United. I was really impressed how Hojlund put pressure on the keeper and then Garnacho was of course there to kind of just score into the empty net. But Man United, we did get off to a good start in the first half. For the first, I'd say, for the first 15 minutes, I do think that we did play really well. There were at times where I think Hillminston, he got away and then Ugarte actually made a really good foul on him when we tried high pressing and it didn't quite work out, so that was good as well. Garnacho does get another chance in the 15th minute as well, when he gets a pullback. Garnacho pulls it back to Mount, it's Mount who has a chance in the 15th minute. Garnacho down the left side and then Mount has a shot but it's straight at the keeper. But unfortunately, Bodo Glimt do grab the equaliser in the 19th minute. And it's Hakan Evjen who scores for Bodo Glimt from outside the box. And it flies straight past into the top left-hand corner. And it's a really neat move by them, I have to admit. Fett turns back. Fett, the Bodo Glimt player, he turns back inside from the left and lays off a pass to Evjen. The latter steps onto the rolling ball and places a perfect 20-yard finish into the top left corner. So it was some good play by Bodo Glimt, but I felt like as if for that goal that we gave up, the equaliser, and we weren't tight enough to our markers and we'd just given away the ball and we kind of really weren't in shape to stop that goal. But it was a decent goal for Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt then do score another one to make it 2-1 in the 23rd minute, and this time Man United try pressing high and Martinez, we're not in our kind of back five shape, we're trying to press him high and trying to win the ball back. Martinez steps out of defence and then that leaves a 3 at the back with Mazraoui, Delit and Malacia. And so Malacia is in a foot race with Zinkernagel, and Zinkernagel basically burns Malacia for pace and he gets away from him. Malacia basically gives up. He's not got the pace to get back, and Zinkernagel is through on goal. On his right side, it would be Malacia's left, and then he slots it past on Arnold to make it 2-1. And it was quite disappointing because it did come up against the run of play. I do felt like as if we did dominate, even though Bodo Glimt did score them 2 goals. I still felt like as if we were on top for the first 20-25 minutes. And Bodo Glimt do get another chance in the 27th minute, and this time it's Zinkernagel and Fett. They combine on the left. United again finding their ailing defence picked apart. The ball is played in low to Evjen, who leans back and lofts his shot high over the crossbar, and that was another good chance for Bodo Glimt. So in the first half, they did kind of, even though we dominated possession, Bodo Glimt did have a good couple of chances to score, and they scored from 2 of them as well. So a couple of moments later though, Man United switched play to Malacia. He gives it to Garnacho and then he loses the ball as well. So there are times as well where I do feel like as if our cutting edge in the final third needs to be a little bit better as well. But around the 42nd minute mark, Garnacho got away from his marker twice, but his crosses into the box didn't find anyone. They were blocked or intercepted. So I think Garnacho had an okay game, but when crosses need to be coming into the box, they need to be more accurate. But Bodo Glimt did do well in terms of clearing their lines as well. United certainly on top at that moment in time, but their work in the final third was still lacking some rhythm. But just before half time, Thankfully, Manchester United do equalise through Hojlund. Ugarte wins the ball back in the opposition half, and he tries playing it to Hojlund, but that pass is intercepted. Bodo Glimt then try clearing it, but Mazraoui, who's playing as a right centre-back, he steps in to win the ball high. He dribbles past a player and is in space basically to put in a ball. He puts in a cross with his right foot to Hojlund, who controls really well in the box. I think he controls with his left foot, and it sets up nicely for him to shoot, and he slots away far from the keeper's reach to make it 2-2. Mazraoui does neatly slip away from his mark. He's really good feet from Mazraoui. He sends over a curling delivery from the right with one touch. And with one touch, Hojlund cushions the ball, and with the next touch he sweeps it past Hojlund and into the bottom right corner. Is a brilliant finish, and it's a tough shot to guide as well. He was a little bit under pressure from the centre backs, and Hojlund does really well to make it 2-2, and we're going into half time with 2-2. So for all of Man United's possession, they had 74% possession, I think, around points in the first half. They were kind of failing to break down Bodo Glimt's defence. Only that obviously that goalkeeping error that led to that early goal, but Malacia and Garnacho down that left side were getting crosses into the box, but they kept getting blocked as well. So I think let's just have a look at the stats at half time. So this is the starting lineup actually that Ruben Amorim did actually go for, and I was pretty surprised with that, but I'll just talk about that in a little bit. First of all, let's just look at the stats at half time. We'll just see how dominant Man United were in terms of possession. Obviously, we had 9 shots, 3 on target, 76% possession, 390 passes compared to Bodo Glimt's 127, 92% pass accuracy as well. So we were basically dominating proceedings in terms of the first half. However, Bodo Glimt, they had 4 shots, 2 on target, and with both their shots on target, they scored from both of them. So Bodo Glimt were a little bit quite clinical in my opinion as well. But when they got the chance on the break, when Man United's press didn't quite work out, they were able to break, and obviously you're gonna have to look at that double pivot of Ugarte and Bruno and think, is that defensively sound? I'll speak about that in a little bit, but yeah, let's just talk about what happened in the second half. So in the second half, what's interesting is that Malacia did actually go off for Dalot, and Dalot then comes on and he offers a little bit more in terms of going forward. I think Dalot is more pacey as well in terms of Malacia as well, and at parts of the second half we did actually see Manchester United switch to a back 4 as well. So in the 47th minute though, Garnacho makes a good run down the left. He Mount then he plays it to Mount, who turns in the box and he shoots with his right foot, and unfortunately it hits the bar. Unfortunately for Mount, who was okay in this game as well, was very unlucky not to score in the 47th minute, but Hojlund does make it 3-2 thankfully. And this time it's Ugarte with the assist. Ugarte breaks down the right side and puts in a ball to Hojlund, who's basically there to tap it in. Mazraoui is involved in the play as well. Mazraoui to Mount to Ugarte, and then Ugarte crosses it from the right side to Hojlund, and Man United lead 3-2. It's a really good flick from Mason Mount, who was I think he was alright this game in terms of his pressing and his movement, and that flick that led to that goal, the eventual winner that Hojlund put away. So it's a slick passing move, ends with Ugarte surging into the box and crossing low towards Hojlund. He slides in front of the Bodo Glimt defender and guides the ball into the back of the net. And it's a real poacher's finish as well. And United completely, obviously we were leading 1-0, and then we went behind 2-1, and then we equalised, and now we're winning 3-2 as well. So it's a bit of a roller coaster of a game, but at no point did I feel like as if we weren't kind of gonna get at least a point, or obviously we're looking for all 3 points, but we kind of did dominate proceedings in terms of possession and what have you as well. So Man United do get a chance as well in the 53rd minute. Martinez plays a really nice ball to Garnacho, who beats the offside trap. He cuts inside onto his right foot, but his shot is saved by the keeper. Hojlund denies Garnacho. The United winger sprints into a huge space on the left before cutting inside to his shooting position just on the edge of the box. He tries to curl a shot into the bottom right corner, but Glimt's goalkeeper dives down to palm it away. Unfortunately, no, it wasn't necessarily to be for Garnacho in terms of kind of getting more goals. He did do well for that first goal, but I think that first goal was basically all Hojlund when he scored in the second minute, when Garnacho scored in basically the first or second minute. I think that was all down to Hojlund in my opinion, and Garnacho does put it into the empty net. But Garnacho, I think he could have got another goal as well, another chance he had later on in the second half. But Man United do make some subs early on in the second half, and it's really nice to see that Ruben Amorim is kind of proactive in his substitutions. He makes them really early, and he's kind of analysing the game and kind of just basically making early changes, something that I really didn't see under Erik ten Hag. He's not afraid to make early changes. So in the 57th minute, Ahmad and Rashford do come on for Antony and Mount, and I do definitely think we looked a lot better down that right side, with Rashford and Ahmad there, especially Ahmad. We looked a lot better. And then in terms of another substitution, Shaw did come on for Martinez, and then finally, that was in the 60th minute. Then in the 66th minute, Casemiro then comes on for De Ligt as well. So it's literally a mad back four that Man United were playing, or back three or whatever that Man United were playing when how we finished the game as well. So in the 68th minute though, Garnacho makes a really good block to stop a cross. Nothing really comes of it for Bodo Glimt, but it's really good to see that we're kind of getting into them positions and making blocks on the crosses, especially for a player like Garnacho, who I've been criticising a lot. Really nice to see that he's putting in the hard yards defensively as well. In the 70th minute though, the keeper Hiken has to make another really good save. Diallo drives inside from the right, lashes a powerful angled shot which is parried away by Hiken, and then Bruno Fernandes has a follow-up, but that's blocked as well before Diallo's second attempt is also charged down as well. In the 75th minute though, Garnacho does have a really good chance after Man United break down the right side. I think it's Rashford or Ahmad who play the pass to Garnacho. He sets himself inside the box, and he just basically blazes it over, and that should have been 4-2 to be honest. In that 75th minute, 76th minute, around that time, Garnacho had really had two really good chances in the second half, and unfortunately he wasn't able to capitalise as well. But Bodo Glimt do have another chance in the 78th minute when Onana loses possession. He almost loses it. There were a little bit of replays, a little bit of controversy, not really, but showing that he might have handled it. I don't think there was anything in that, but he does kind of almost lose possession, but he doesn't. United break down the right side, and it's Ahmad plays it across to Garnacho, who sets himself, and then he puts it over. Again, he should have scored. I think that's the same chance that I mentioned just before. So Garnacho had two chances in the second half, which he wasn't able to capitalise on, unfortunately, and I think he should have scored at least one. In terms of what else happened? Nothing really much happened, but Bodo Glimt do grab a free kick in that 92nd minute. They are breaking. It's not really a breakaway that much, I think, but Man United do have some bodies back, but we're not in shape, and so we do have bodies back. We're not in shape, so Casemiro basically has to handle the ball. He picks up a yellow card, and Bodo Glimt have a free kick on the edge of the box on the left-hand side. And I forgot who it is. I think it's the number 7 for Bodo Glimt. I'm not quite sure. But he hits a free kick with his right foot over the wall. And unfortunately, Onana has to save. And he does save the free kick, and he parries it away. We were living on the edge a little bit in the closing moments of the game. But thankfully, we did get over the line to pick up all 3 points in the Europa League. So what's interesting is that we did finish the game with Shaw and Casemiro as centre-backs, and then Dalot and Mazraoui as the full-backs as well. Bruno basically played DM the whole game. He started in a pivot alongside Ugarte, and then he finished in the pivot alongside Ugarte as well. And I think, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable in saying that that's the way to go. That's the way to be going forward. I think it was okay. I think the goals that Bodo Glimt scored weren't necessarily the pivot's fault. Maybe the second one, but the first one, I think if I can remember, where Bodo Glimt are breaking, the one where Malacia is basically running back towards his own goal and Bodo Glimt basically play a ball over the top. I don't think that's necessarily the pivot's fault. I think the other goal is whereby I think it's the first one. Let me just make sure what goal I'm actually talking about. Yeah, I think it's the first one. Um, yeah, it's the first goal that Bodo Glimt score. I think the pivot are a little bit at fault there, but I think the second goal that Man United concede in the first half, I think that's just Malacia getting burnt for pace. We're trying to high press, it doesn't quite work out, and Bodo Glimt just basically play a ball straight over the top, and they're in basically. So yeah, finally, what we should do is that we should look at the player ratings as well. So I'll speak about every player individually. But yeah, man of the match in my opinion is going to be Hojlund as well. But we'll have a look at the player ratings now. So yeah, these are the player ratings from FootMob. So I'll just kind of go through each player. Onana, I think he had a decent game. I don't think the goals were necessarily his fault. But yeah, in terms of accurate passes, 94%. Really nice to see that we are trying to play out from the back, and he was very good in terms of his distribution, in my opinion. Long balls, 3 out of 4 completed. But yeah, Onana, I think he had a solid game. He was kind of getting on the ball a lot in the second half as well. But we're trying to play out from the back, and when Shaw and Dalot came on. We really did look better down the left-hand side, down this left-hand side here. So, yeah, we'll speak about Mazraoui. Mazraoui, very, very good game by him. I was very impressed by him. He grabbed the assist for the, I think it was, I forgot, I think the second or third goal. But yeah, he grabbed the assist for one of the goals. He played really well as well. 95% pass accuracy. 3 chances created from centre-back as well. So I think what's happening is that Man United are kind of allowing the centre-backs to kind of hold possession. And if you've got a tidy centre-back that's good on the ball like Mazraoui, then I think he can find space and pick some good passes and kind of do some line-breaking passes as well to kind of disrupt the opposition as well. You can see accurate crosses, 1 out of 1. Accurate long ball, 3 out of 5. Only 1 out of 5 tackles won though, which is not really that good. But defensive actions 9. He got dribbled past 0 times as well. Duels won 6. Duels lost 1. So he's got 6 out of 7 ground duels won. So very tidy and neat performance by him. De Ligt, he was okay. I think he's just about keeping the ball side to side, ticking it over. And so his pass map is just going to be to Martinez and to Mazraoui. So that's all he's really there for. He's not really there for kind of playing them line-breaking, splitting passes to the fullbacks. Which I think, if he can add that into his locker, then I think, we're going to be in good stead going forward as well. If we can have a really good central defender that can play them line-breaking passes to the fullbacks as well. So 95% pass accuracy. But yeah. 1 out of 3 ground duels. Again, the goals that we conceded, don't necessarily think that they're any individual player's fault in terms of, I think it's probably a whole team error that we kind of conceded them 2 goals. But yeah, Martinez, again, look at that 100% pass accuracy. He had a decent game as well. But I think that when Shaw and, like I said, Shaw and Dalot came on, I think we looked more assured in possession. We looked better building out, and I think we were more successful as well in terms of building out as well. Accurate long balls, 3 out of 3, so that's very good by him. Malacia, I don't think that he was that good, to be honest with you. He did have 97% pass accuracy, but the thing is, Bodo Glimt were very happy with us keeping the ball, and they were very happy with us moving it side to side, and they were just shifting across and closing down the space really well, making central ball progression really difficult for us. And that's why you're going to see the centre backs and the back three, the centre backs and the wing backs have really good pass accuracy as well. Let me just have a look at the ratings for the other players as well. Oh, it seems, yeah, they've got a little bit of low ratings, the substitutes, but I do feel like as if Dalot was better down the on the left hand side than Malacia as well. He did get burnt for pace for the I think the what goal? I think the second goal. Sorry, yeah. Antony, right wing back, he started, and he was all right as well. He displayed some promise, but I would much rather prefer Ahmad in the side. He was okay. I don't really remember him doing too much in terms of kind of getting forward. Defensively, yeah, he was okay with 6 out of 12 ground rules won. Touches in the opposition box 5, successful dribbles 4 out of 6. Accurate passes, again, he's going to have high pass accuracy as well with 90%. But if you're going to have a look at the pass map and pass map for the players, you're going to see that it's all in front of Bodo Glimt, and it's a lot of it side to side. And so yeah, Ugarte, I think Ugarte had a really good game in my opinion. He had a really good game. He was getting about the place, putting in tackles everywhere. 92% pass accuracy, 1 chance created. He did grab an assist as well. 78 touches. So I was kind of surprised to see that he's got 78 touches. I thought he would have less. Let me just have a look at what like Martinez would have. 83 touches. Mazraoui 139 touches as well. I don't understand how Mazraoui is getting so many touches in the ball. He had a lot of touches against Ipswich as well. So coming back to Ugarte, successful dribbles 1 out of 1, dispossessed 0 times. So yeah, accurate passes 92%. He dispossessed 0 times, so no one managed to tackle him. But yeah, duels won 5 out of 7 ground duels won. Duels lost, he's only lost 2. He was very neat and tidy on the ball, and yeah, I think that pivot off Bruno and Ugarte was okay. Bruno, he was a little bit lively. He did get about the place as well. Good going forward but defensively, I think he was a little bit kind of he didn't really know where to be sometimes. I think he wasn't that involved like he usually would be in his preferred kind of forward position. But I definitely do think that Ugarte and Fernandes can play in that double pivot for certain games. Obviously not all the games, but yeah, I do think that they can play in that pivot. 88% pass accuracy, 74 out of 84 passes. He got a total of 5 shots as well, but I don't think any of them were on target. Yeah. Miss. That's a save. That's a miss. That's a blocked, and that's a miss as well. So I think he had 1 shot on target, but he was decent in that. I think that double pivot has got potential to be playing against sides, especially against sides that you're going to dominate the ball. And I think Ruben Amorim did expect us to dominate the ball, and that's probably why we saw Bruno Fernandes in this double pivot. But if you're going somewhere away, like Arsenal away, City away, Liverpool away, there's not a chance in hell that Bruno Fernandes is going to be starting in that double pivot alongside Ugarte. Obviously, when you're playing one of them teams away, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, you're going to want Ugarte and Casemiro in there personally. But yeah, Mount, he did play a part in one of the goals. He had really good flick for I think Hojlund's winner. He did play a part, but he was a little bit quiet. He didn't really get involved too much. Only 37 touches. I don't think he made that much of a meaningful contribution. He was kind of decent in the press. So he did press okay, but showed a lot of energy and stuff. But ground duels won, you can see 1 out of 6, so he was quite unsuccessful in his duels there. But yeah, a little bit of a quiet game from Mason Mount as well. I think defensively he was probably better. If you have a look at the stats defensively, he probably was better if you have a look there. Attack, he wasn't really kind of providing too much going forward. Like I said, only 37 touches there, only 4 touches in the opposition box as well. Garnacho, I think he had a decent game. I don't think even though he grabbed, I think he grabbed a goal. Yeah, he only grabbed a goal, but like I said, he probably should have scored 2 in the second half. He really should have scored. I think yeah. So that's his goal right there. Obviously 0.8 xG because he's right in front of the net. This one situation, fast break, right foot. I think he should be scoring that one in the 54th minute, 73rd minute. What the xG for that is 0.13. This one 0.19. Miss regular play. This one fast break. I think this fast break one, if I remember correctly, I think it's Ahmad who passes it across to him, and he just skies it over the bar, and he should be scoring this one in the 76th minute, in my opinion. But yeah, Garnacho, I think this rating on FootMob is a little bit exaggerated. I don't think he was worth 8.8. Have a look at SofaScore is 7.8 there. But yeah, I don't think he deserves a 8.8 rating, to be honest. He was probably like, I'd say a 7 max, maybe a 6.5. But yeah, 8.8 is just highly exaggerated. But yeah, finally, in terms of Hojlund was man of the match, in my opinion. He is man of the match. 2 goals and 1 assist, from 3 shots, just goes to show that he is pretty clinical in front of goal. So if you have a look at 1 shot in the 24th minute, regular play miss, XG of 0.06, that was a header that went over the bar. I don't remember that one too well, but yeah, he's only, how many yards out? He's a couple, yeah. So yeah, I think that was a difficult chance in the 24th minute. He's not even in the D there, so in a keeper's box there. So yeah, Hojlund though, like I said, man of the match. Really good build-up play. Really involved in the play. Really good hold-up play as well when he's under pressure from the centre backs, and he's just holding off the centre back, laying it off to his teammates, and then kind of just running and breaking. And the first goal he scored technically was really good, controlling it with his left foot, I think, and then scoring with his right foot. So technically that first goal he scored was really good, and then the second goal he scored was basically just a tap-in. But of course, you need to be at the right place at the right time as well. 2 chances created as well. He only had 29 touches, which just goes to show that in this Amorim system that we're playing right now, even Gyökeres doesn't really have that many touches. If Hojlund can just get on the end of things and put the ball away into the back of the net, then that's all you're asking for your number 9, really. You don't need to be getting loads and loads of touches on the ball. You just need to be getting on the end of things and getting and putting the ball into the back of the net as well. So yeah, Jules won 4, Jules lost 3. So he's got ground duels 1, 3 out of 5, aerial duels 1, 1 out of 2 as well. And he scored 2 goals. And then for the first goal that Garnacho scored, he did get an assist for that one as well, because he won it off the goalkeeper. Yeah, he's a very good all-round number 9 performance. Very impressive performance by him. Solid man of the match performance, and that's what I want to see, really. I want to see Hojlund in this position. I want to see Hojlund getting on the end of things as well. But yeah, so in terms of the substitutes, let's just talk about the substitutes a little bit. I'm surprised at these ratings that FootMob have. 7.2. I don't think Malacia was a 7.2. I don't think Antony was a 7.2 either. So when Dalot did come on in the 46th minute, I thought we looked a lot better as well. And then I think Ahmad, who comes on after him in the 59th minute, that they had good games. They had decent games against Ipswich. Ahmad had a good game against Ipswich as well. But Dalot, I think, was pretty decent when he came on as well. He's really good at kind of baiting in the press and then knocking it past the guy that's pressing him and just running into space. Sometimes his ball in the final third is a little bit off. So that is a little bit frustrating, but when he came on, I think he did play really well. I think he's worth more than that 6.6 rating that he's got on here as well. So successful dribbles 2 out of 2, and accurate long balls 4 out of 5 as well. And not too many defensive actions. 1 interception, 1 defensive action there. Jules won 3, Jules lost. Jules won 3, Jules lost 3 as well. So yeah, I think Dalot was decent, pretty good when he came on. And Ahmad then comes on as well in the 59th minute. And I think he was decent as well. I think he's better than Antony. I think Dalot and Diallo are better than Antony and Malacia as well on the wing. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ruben Amorim does go back to that on the weekend. And again, a 6.5 rating. I think that's a little bit harsh. I think he needs to be a little bit higher. 1 chance created as well. I think he should have an assist as well. I think that one of the shots that Garnacho had, I'm pretty sure it was Ahmad that actually passes him the ball, and he does have a couple of shots as well in the second half. 1 left-footed shot, that's a save. Maybe he should be scoring that. It's a little bit tough chance. But it was a save. 70th minute, that one's blocked, and then the 87th minute, that one's blocked as well. But yeah, so Ahmad was decent when he came on. Rashford, I thought, was a little bit quiet. Not really impressed by Rashford when he came on. I don't think he offered too much. I think he came on for Mount. And I wasn't really impressed with Rashford, to be honest with you. I think I feel like as if he could have been doing more, getting more involved in the play. I don't know, maybe it's body language. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to really kind of be criticising and plays over too harshly, if you know what I mean. But I'm not sure how I'm feeling about Rashford in the system. Even, he didn't really look good against Ipswich playing that number 9 position. And now, he wasn't really too involved in the play. I don't really remember him doing too much in terms of creating chances. How many touches did he have? Let's have a look. Only 16 touches. And yeah, I think he had 13 against Ipswich, so I think he needs to be doing more for me. So I wasn't really impressed with Rashford when he came on. Luke Shaw, though, he did look decent when he came on. He playing that centre-back position, and Luke Shaw was very neat and tidy when he came on. You can see 98% pass accuracy, and he was decent in terms of getting the ball off Onana, and he also baited in the press, and then Dalot baited in the press as well. And at times, Shaw played it to Dalot, and then Dalot would just knock it past the oncoming Bodo Glimt player that was pressing him and just dribble it past him, basically. So that was some good link-up play down that left side as well. So I think Luke Shaw can play this left centre-back position. I think he's better than, I think Luke Shaw in this left centre back position is better than Martinez. But we'll see. Going forward, who kind of nails down that spot as well. But yeah, Casemiro then comes on, and then he comes on for De Ligt, and then Casemiro is basically playing centre back, and I don't think he looked too comfortable, to be honest. Casemiro at the centre back position, don't think he's played there too often in his career. He did play it last season a little bit when we had a lot of injuries, but yeah, defensive actions 2, recoveries 2, 1 blocked, but I don't think Casemiro was overly that good when he came on. I think he was okay, he was pretty average, but yeah, in terms of overall, I think that it was a decent game, obviously a decent game to watch in terms of the neutral, but in terms of kind of going forward, are we going to see this lineup again in terms of this Bruno and Ugarte pivot? I'm not too sure. I think it looked all right, but I think the main concern for me would be the wing-back positions. You've got Antony, who he was okay, but when Ahmad came on, you could see that it was a different level of quality on the ball. I think Ahmad is better in this position. And then when Dalot came on for Malacia, you could see that Dalot in this position is better than Malacia. Malacia, of course, this is his first start in such a long amount of time. He did get a couple of minutes playing against Huddersfield in the under-23s, I think, or the under-21s. I'm not quite sure, but he did get a couple of minutes playing that game. But in terms of this left wing-back position, I think Dalot is better. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amorim is telling the board, I need a left wing back, but yeah. So I'm not quite sure if Amorim really does like to prefer inverted wing backs. When Diallo's playing right wing back, Dalot's playing left wing back, and there are like pros and cons, of course, to playing inverted fullbacks. But we definitely looked better, in my opinion, when Diallo and Dalot were on the pitch. So, in terms of this pivot here, I don't think this pivot is too much to worry about. I don't think we're going to see it much in the Premier League, honestly. I'd be very surprised to see it in the Premier League. But because I think that Ruben Amorim is thinking that, we're playing against Bodo Glimt, we're going to be dominating the ball, we're going to be dominating possession, we need to kind of be playing a little bit more attacking, we need to take the game to them kind of thing. So that's why I think that Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte started in that pivot. And they didn't have the worst games. I think they were pretty decent. I think Ugarte was probably better than Fernandes because Ugarte's more kind of played in this position before, and he's more experienced than Bruno in this position. Bruno, he doesn't really play in the DM position here. So all in all, a really good 3 points. It leaves us in good stead for kind of at least making the knockout playoffs. In terms of, like I said, man of the match, Hojlund, but Mazraoui, honestly, he needs to be starting every single game. Mazraoui is literally the first name on the team sheet. I think in terms of like Man United's probably best kind of 11, I'm going to have to go with Onana. Onana needs to be starting every game, of course. De Ligt, Mazraoui, Hojlund, and obviously Fernandez as well. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players there that are basically like nailed on starters for me, in my opinion. In terms of everyone else, I think everyone else. Oh, and Amad Diallo as well. So so Onana, Delit, Mazraoui, Amad Diallo, Bruno, and Hojlund. I think everyone else basically needs to be kind of winning their position into the side, if you know what I mean. They need to be obviously impress in training, and then in the game, and then in matches as well. So we've learned a lot this game in terms of how Ruben Amorim is going to be looking forward to, further setting up the side. And not only that, but we did see some tactical flexibility from him as well by switching to that 4 at the back as well at points in the second half as well. So that's good as well. Really good to see that he's a proactive manager. Really good to see that he's kind of lucky to make changes early on and isn't afraid to make changes early on as well. But yeah, in terms of that left inside 10 and that right inside 10, I think they are kind of two positions that are kind of they're kind of open, they're kind of up for grabs, if you know what I mean. I think Amad, it would be interesting to see Amad play in this right inside 10 position. That would be really interesting for me to see. I really want to see that and see how that kind of comes along as well. Also, what I want to say is we did kind of see Dalot inverting into the center of the pitch and kind of playing as a 10, like we saw under Eric Ten Hag as well. That was interesting to see as well. Dalot kind of dropping into that inside 10 position as well. So yeah, let's have a look at the full-time stats here. So full-time United, 20 shots, 6 on target, 73% 73% possession, 91% pass accuracy. So really kind of dominant performance by United in terms of holding the ball. But it can't be understated that Bodo Glimt did have a couple of opportunities on the break as well. And if we were playing a little bit against more clinical opposition, then we definitely could have dropped points this game. But yeah, in terms of league standings, let's have a look at that as well. So we'll go to the Europa League website. So Manchester United are up to 12th in the Europa League phase. It leaves us in a really good position to at least make the knockout phase playoffs. But of course, we really want to be getting into the top 8, so we go straight into the round of 16. Because, like I said previously, we don't want to be playing more games. There's a long season. We've just got players coming back from injury and stuff. We really don't want to be playing more games. So we really don't want to be kind of getting in these knockout phase playoff positions. We really want to be getting into the top 8 positions as well. So in terms of the top 8, Ajax did lose. So but Lyon won. Lazio drew. Athletic Club won. So yeah, there's not many dropped points in terms of the top positions for the top 8 sides. Tottenham did draw, so they drop out off the top 8. We are on 9 points with 5 played. Of course, like every single Europa League game that we played so far this season, we have been winning. We were winning against 2020, winning against Porto, winning against Fenerbahce. And we drew all them games, unfortunately, but really nice to see that we've come away with 2 back-to-back home wins in the Europa League. So it does leave us in good stead to be, I think we'll definitely make the knockout phase playoffs. I think we will make the knockout phase playoffs, in my opinion, but because there are 24 teams that basically advance, so it is kind of basically harder for you to get knocked out at this stage than anything. But yeah, so really happy with the win. Really happy with Hojlund especially as well. I really do think that Ruben Amorim can get the best out of him in terms of kind of because I do think he's got a similar characteristics to Gyökeres. Obviously not the same, but I do think that Ruben Amorim can work with Hojlund and kind of get the best out of him. But yeah, in terms of Man United's next game, we are up against Everton at home. on Sunday, and then obviously against Arsenal midweek, and then Forest as well after that. Then we do play Pleasant in the Europa League, and then our other Europa League games are against. So we're playing Pleasant away, and then we're playing Rangers at home. Our final home. So yeah, we're playing Rangers at home, our final home game in the Europa League, and then we are playing. I think this is FCSB, which is Steaua Bucharest. That's who we're playing. I didn't know who FCSB was, so they are Steaua Bucharest. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's it from me. I've been yapping on for quite long. If you enjoyed this, review, leave a like rating, subscribe, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one.